Events within the grove had already gone terribly wrong. Moments ago, something had clawed its way out of a charred corpse. Not alive, not dead, something in between. And now, it's looking at Rhogar. Not with eyes, but he feels its gaze nonetheless. The air around Rhogar distorts, heat pressing unnaturally inward. The thing doesn't strike him physically. It reaches into Rhogar, a lance of compressed heat slamming into his chest, not burning his skin, but trying to ignite something underneath it. For a split second, Rhogar's vision whites out, and in that flash, he sees something. A shape, massive, endless, coiled in fire that does not behave like fire. Then, it's gone. Deep in his chest, that familiar, burning pull tightens again. This thing is connected to him somehow, and he knows that this is a part of his destiny. This encounter puts him one step closer to finding his prime enemy. This thing is not the true enemy, but rather the path to it. Rhogar doesn't raise a weapon, nor does he retreat. Instead, he leans into the moment, that connection, that burning thread that reached into him. He lets it in, just enough. His chest rises slowly, eyes locking onto the thing crawling out of the corpse. Not with fear, not with defiance, but with recognition. Rhogar's voice is low and controlled, ancient in tone. Destruction is not chaos. A step forward, closer. It is purpose. The heat around him presses tighter, testing. Fire does not kill without meaning. He feels it now, that same presence pushing back. Curious, hungry. And I will not extinguish what I revere. A pause as Rhogar's hand tightens slightly on his dagger, but not drawing it. Not yet. Unless you force my hand. The grove goes still again. Then the thing inside the corpse convulses violently, its form stabilizing slightly as it feeds off the connection Rhogar opened. Kin. Its voice distorts, multiple tones layered over each other. Return. The heat spikes, and suddenly Rhogar realizes, too late, that this entity does not see shared kinship with him. It sees only fuel. The stranger reacts instantly. Back! They move sharply to his side and thrust a hand forward. It is a quick, precise motion, and Rhogar immediately notices signs of well-controlled magical ability. This strike connects weakly, however, barely disrupting the entity's efforts to stabilize itself off Rhogar's spirit. It's anchoring itself, they snap. Don't let it fully form. Rhogar now sees clearly. This is not sacred fire. It is only hunger. His hatred towards its rejection of sacred devotion to the fires of destruction and creation is palpable. But this hatred isn't wild. It's focused, cold, judgmental. For something filled with holy essence to so completely reject its true purpose is obscene and only worthy of extinguishment. I offered this spirit meaning. It answered only with hunger, Rhogar thinks. That is not fire. That is waste. His hand rises, not with flame, but with something far more offensive to fire's sacred nature. If you do not know your essence, your purpose, he says, as dark, necrotic energy coils around his fingers. Not absence, not shadow, denial. Then you are unworthy of your own existence. As the necrotic energy forms into a dark, claw-like shape around Rhogar's hand, the entity recoils. For the first time in this encounter, you feel something new from it. Resistance. Not physical, but instinctual. As the chill touch of the necrotic hand latches onto the portion of the entity still attached to the corpse, it screams. Not through the corpse, but through the air itself. Unmake you. Its form flickers violently now, less stable than before. The glow inside the corpse stutters, like a failing heartbeat, and the two can see it weaken. No. Its edges collapsing inward, like a fire trying to burn without enough fuel. Seeing the sudden shift, the stranger instantly leaps into action. He steps in, closer than before, too close for comfort, his hand snapping forward. Instead of striking, though, he presses something small and metallic into the corpse's sternum. A symbol. On contact, it burns into the entity, the stranger's focus temporarily binding the entity and restricting its movements. Keep it unstable, he barks. If it anchors, we're dead. Rhogar's hand rises again. No hesitation, no testing. He knows what this thing is now, and more importantly, he knows what it needs. So, he takes it away. The spectral hand forms again, stronger this time, sharper. You are not flame. Rhogar's voice cutting through the grove like a verdict. You are only hunger. Necrotic energy lashes forward, aimed directly at the unstable core inside the corpse. The entity twists violently, trying to pull away from the connection Rhogar has established. Denied. It understands now. These two are not prey. They are interference. And it hates them for it. This time, Rhogar's necrotic hand doesn't just latch onto the entity. It drives inward, straight into the unstable core. It spasms violently, losing form and collapsing inward. No. No. The glow inside the corpse dims further, flickering erratically. The ember core fractures, visibly now. Cracks of dull, fading light spread through it, like something breaking under pressure it cannot withstand. Unmade. The voice distorts violently, losing cohesion, slipping between tones. Not yet. The corpse jerks, and the false flame diminishes further. It is no longer trying to expand. It's trying to hold together for one last moment. It pulls inward, the entire form compressing towards the core. Not to stabilize, they both realize simultaneously, but to take them both down with it. "Move! Now!" the stranger shouts. But Rhogar is close. Too close. Then, the moment the pressure peaks, he moves. Not in a panic or a scramble, but with instinct and experience. He shifts his weight, pivoting just as the core detonates outward in a tight, violent burst of collapsing heat. The blast rips past him, close enough to feel his scales tighten under the heat, but not enough to injure him. Behind Rhogar, the stranger isn't as fortunate. He staggers back, cloak whipping violently, but managing to stay on his feet. The grove goes still again. The corpse is no longer intact. What remains? A partially collapsed body with a small, flickering, exposed elemental core hovering just above it. It does not attack. It's failing, dying. Hold. The voice is weaker now, fragmented. Form. Now, the stranger shouts. He doesn't elaborate, nor does he need to. Rhogar steps forward into the fading heat, into the dying instability of something that pretended to be sacred. His hand rises again, not in anger this time, but in judgment. You know not what you are, nor do you care. The thing flickers weakly, its form barely holding. You shall suffer for it. The spectral, necrotic hand begins to form, larger now, more defined. For as my power grows, the air stills. Even the stranger doesn't move. They're watching Rhogar now, not the creature. Ever will I understand. The hand closes in, hovering just above the fractured core. Rhogar's eyes lock onto it, unblinking, unwavering. All stars grow dim. The entity doesn't lash out. It doesn't flee. It reaches back towards Rhogar, weakly, desperately. Return. Not command, not threat. Something closer to instinct, but it's too late. The spectral hand does not lash out. It descends, slow, deliberate, like something being returned to its proper state. The false flame doesn't scream, not like before. It flickers, its form collapsing inward. No, you. The words fracture, breaking apart mid-sound. It recognizes Rhogar now, not as kin, as something else, something it cannot reconcile. His hand closes over the core, calmly and purposefully, not crushing, containing, purifying. For a brief moment, everything goes still. The flickering light inside the entity stabilizes, not growing, not fighting, just held. And then it dims, not violently or painfully, but like a flame finally realizing it was never meant to burn this way. dim. The last word barely forms before the light collapses inward and vanishes. The grove is quiet again. No heat, no pull, no presence. Just ash and the broken remains of what once tried to be something more. The corpse finally collapses fully, empty now. Rhogar stands still, hands still outstretched, the last traces of necrotic energy fading from his fingers. Behind him, the stranger exhales slowly. He doesn't speak immediately. Then, you didn't destroy it. You ended it. That was intentional. He steps closer now, no longer cautious in the same way as before this encounter. Not relaxed, but no longer unsure. Most people would have burned it out. His eyes flick briefly to Rhogar's hand, then back to his face. You understood what it was. He looks at the altar again, then back at Rhogar. Name. Not aggressive, not polite, just direct. Rhogar doesn't turn to face the stranger. He doesn't need to. His attention returns to the altar, to the carvings, to the thing that mattered before the interruption. I understood what it should have been, he says. His voice is steady and low. He kneels slightly, ash shifting beneath his weight, fingers hovering just above the etched stone. And why it could not be as it was. Do you? The symbols no longer writhe at the edge of Rhogar's perception. Now they are still, broken. And then, Rhogar, return the courtesy. Behind Rhogar, a pause. Not one of hesitation, but of consideration. He hears the stranger step closer, not circling, not positioning, just approaching. Names are given, but not lightly. In a place like this, even a simple introduction can carry consequences. What follows may define far more than either of them realize. Episode 2, Part 1 is coming soon.